Shh, be quiet.
Welcome to the PowerTrip Podcast Live, and you're now tuned into our Thursday evening chats with your hosts,
Charmaine.
and Saquon, of course.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back to our new guest. Welcome. Don't be shy. Make sure you jump in the conversation with us today.
So, for all of you who are not familiar, every Thursday evening we get together and we have a Thursday evening chat where we discuss controversial topics surrounding family, community, and relationships. We have three main goals. The first goal is to strengthen our communication skills within our community. Our second is to expand our perspective so that we can all gain a greater understanding. And last and most important, we want to build exceptional families that will continue to uplift the world around us.
Right.
So with that being said, hello. How's everyone doing? Hey, Boobiz.
Hey, Janae. How are you doing today?
And real quick, we're praying for everyone who's affected by Hurricane Ida. I know people whose houses have flooded, and unfortunately, there's people without power right now.
Yeah.
And all the way to New York, New Jersey, it's been affecting people as well. So we just pray everyone is safe,
Right.
has shelter, food, and we're praying for you all.
It's crazy how these storms are
Mm-hmm.
doing people nowadays.
Yeah, and also the fires in California.
I didn't even know it was still fires in California.
It's bad. Yeah. So we are praying.
Yes.
We have a good topic today. We are going to be talking about outgrowing friends. I think that's something that we probably all have experienced in our day. As we get older, there's just certain friendships and relationships that you may outgrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be a bad thing, so we're going to get into that. But first, how's everybody's night going? How's everyone doing?
Yes. How's everybody going?
Yeah.
How's everybody's evening going? How's the day been?
Oh, and my phone's going to die. We have to share it. So let me try to share this on Facebook before my phone dies. Okay. Sharing. Oh, no.
It does seem like the day went by really fast, though.
It does. What the heck?
Shanae says, all is well. How's your night?
So far, so good. Just tired. Yeah, but it's been good. It's been a good day. I can't even go to our page. All right, we'll forget it. All right, so let's just jump on into the topic, outgrowing friends. So I guess we'll start by just asking, has anyone experienced that? Like, has anyone had a friendship that they've outgrown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a few.
A few friendships?
Yeah.
I would say I have two. Hi, Aunt Chi.
Hey, Aunt Chi.
Yeah, I would say I've outgrown some friendships. Hey, Zuri. She says yes. Yeah, so I think we can kind of all relate to the notion of outgrowing a friendship. Right. So, question then. How do you know when you've outgrown a friendship?
Okay. And we were going to get into that today. I guess the signs of knowing. I feel like what?
Yeah.
I feel like a sign could be, and before we even go to that, I think outgrowing a friend also could be positive and negative. I mean, it doesn't always have to be bad, like a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah.
So I think one sign could be, let's say, not being interested in the same things anymore. what's interesting to them is not interesting to you anymore. Like it's just not like the things aren't translating over. Conversations are translating over anymore. We're not on the same accord. We're not on the same wavelength anymore.
So when you say, like, because I get what you're saying, but I just want you to kind of expand. So when you say like things are not like what they're interested in, you're no longer interested in. Hi, Anivan. Or it's just they're going down a different path of interest that's not for you.
I've grown out of the interest.
So you used to be interested in the same things, but now you've outgrown that interest.
Right.
Whether it be so
we could have been sorry for cutting you off, but we could have been sitting around talking about basketball, video games, and music every day, right? And I could have been doing that for years. But now I'm getting to a point where that's what all you want to sit around me and talk about. And now I'm talking about building a business, raising a family, and barely ever talk about video games, basketball, and music. You get what I'm saying?
Hey, Mom.
So hey, my G.
Is that all it takes
then what?
For you? Is that all it takes for you to feel like you've outgrown that friendship? Is because the conversations are just not aligning? Or would it have to also be like actions as well?
Like I said, it don't have to be bad. This doesn't have to be like this.
I didn't say it's bad or good.
No, I'm just saying. This doesn't have to be no big falling out or anything. But after a while, like how many times am I gonna go chill with my friends, and not wanting to be part of this conversation? Or
so my question is that all it takes then is just that conversation?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that when you know that you've outgrown a group of people that is a sign. Yes.
Fair enough. So I agree to an extent. I do think that, when you come, like if you go around a group of friends or that friend and the conversation is on their end is things that you guys are accustomed to and used to, but now you're kind of growing out of it, then it would feel like you're not being kind of fed in that friendship just through conversation. But I feel like if you brought up the other stuff and then they kind of engaged, it's like, okay, maybe they're not growing at the same pace, but you can still talk about the things that you want to talk about. They're just used to what your friendship was. But then I feel like if you add the layer of action, so let's say, okay, we're all friends, right? Let's say we all graduated high school. Let's talk young. All graduated high school. I went off to college. They didn't, or vice versa. They went off to college. I didn't. And so now they have different interests, different goals and aspirations. And mine may be not where theirs are just because of life experience. So I'm more so maybe into right now just shopping and, watching drama shows and things of that nature. But they're more now so laser focused on a career path. And like you said, maybe one in a family, maybe they got into a relationship in college and stuff like that.
Right.
So now when we come together, I feel like our actions and conversation don't align, because maybe I want to go out clubbing and partying, but now they want to go to network events and things of that nature. So then I feel like, hey, Mama J.
Hey, Mom.
I feel like it's more than, for me, it would be more than just the conversation. Like the conversation, it would get kind of old and I may bring that to their attention, but I feel like it also have to be their action. Like we as friends should, be uplifting each other. So I would bring things to their attention and hopefully they bring things to my attention. But if there's no like actionable steps on them bettering themselves and moving on that frequency, I guess, that I'm on, it doesn't have to be like college or anything. It could just be something to better themselves, whatever it is for them. Just not staying stagnant in life and not changing at all, but seeing them evolve.
Right.
For me, I think that would be a little bit more of me feeling like we really outgrown each other. Because I feel like So for you, would you say
your question was what's a sign? I'm just saying what's a sign, but go ahead.
okay? But question: do you feel like with interest, do you think your like our interests would like fully change?
Change what?
Like okay, like you said, video games, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like down the line you would never be interested in it again, or it's just not on the like top priority on your mind at that time?
I've grown past it, so I don't think this is like, for instance, let's say the amount of time that I spent playing video games, right, with certain friends, right. I will never do that again.
Right.
I know that I'm not gonna do that again.
But it's not that you won't ever play a video game again.
Right. It's not that I won't play a video game again, or it's not that I won't even see a commercial to a video game and say, "Oh, that's interesting." Right. I might even buy a game.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying?
So that's what I guess I was kind of alluding at. It's not that you don't like you wouldn't do what they do, but just not on the level that they're doing it probably.
Right. If I'm realizing like I feel like I guess priorities and see, and this goes into other things. The only reason why I'm not interested is because my lifestyle is changing.
Right.
So my lifestyle and my mindset, everything is changing about me. So if I'm doing this one thing and you doing this, if we're
meshing.
Yeah, we're not meshing at all. And it's gonna you actually affect me negatively. You are free to do what you want to do. And I'm not saying what you doing is negative, right? But it's negatively affecting my decisions of what I want for myself.
Throwing you off of your kind of focus or your trajectory.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey G. Hey Khalid.
What's up, Khalid? What up, G?
What do you guys think would be another sign that you've outgrown a friendship? And you can say another sign too, hon.
Okay. You've outgrown.
Or what's something that's like a telltale sign that's like, yeah, we've kind of outgrown each other.
I think one is, and please, if you guys know any, please write a sign of when you know somebody ain't your peoples like that. Khalid says when everything they do get on your damn nerves. Yeah. I mean, that's up and down because it could be you. It could be you too. Be having a short fuse, or you could be going through something, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, that's true, and that's part of it. That's part of it because you go back to your lifestyle. If your lifestyle is one way, and this person does something all the time that goes against that, you're gonna get bothered.
Right. Very, very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Especially it's like especially if someone knows something is not your interest or something does bother you and they continuously do it. I think that's like a sign. It's like, okay, so your maturity level is here.
Right.
And mine is here. And you're doing something intentionally to annoy me.
Right. G says, or you're annoyed with every little thing they do.
Oh, Khalid. Yep.
Yeah, basically the same thing. And I'm telling you, I have this, me and Khalid talked about this before. You know when you don't like somebody that it's that anything could trigger it, that you will just snap on them. Like you just be super, super fed up. Any little tiny thing. They could just...
Well, that's a you problem. If you snapping on people.
Nah, but they just annoy you that much.
No, that's a you problem. That's a
the you thing is that you've been around them too long. You kept yourself there too long and you just dealing with it.
No.
But anyway, Chichi says a big sign that you've outgrown a friendship is when your friend doesn't support your vision, even actually detracts you and discourages you. That's a fact, and that's actually what I was going to say next. That's very, very, very.
Oh, true. In those words. I'm just kidding.
Nah, not necessarily. Not necessarily in those words.
But the same thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. When people not there to kind of support you and the ways that you expect them to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard because we're all living we all have our own lives. So sometimes we can get busy and just be running our own race and laser focused on what we got going on. So sometimes you have friends who are more of the type who will post on social media or, do these other things to show you a congratulations, and your support may be different.
Right.
So I think if their expectations of you are what they do, then yeah, they're going to feel like, okay, well, this person's either hating or not supporting me. So I think that could kind of be like a miscommunication, and it's just even really understanding your friend and understand, because I don't post on Facebook. I don't really give people big shout outs on Facebook and stuff, but some people take social media very seriously.
Right.
And so if you don't do that for them, but they do that for you, then they're going to feel like, oh, well, I do this for you and you don't do it for me. And it's not hating. It's like, because I will support you. I'll call you and support you. I'll send you a gift. I'll be there to support you. I'm just not the type of person who's like a broadcaster on social media. So, but I do agree that if your circle is not cheering for you, or like Anchichi and you were saying, like if they actually try to take you off the path of greatness that you're on, then they're truly not for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess kind of the smash in there, and they can't be happy for your accomplishment.
Right. Yes. They don't clap for you.
Yeah, you notice the people that's never really smiling when you look back at them after you did something great. You know, those typically the people that you kind of got to let go.
Yes.
And there's always little ways to identify that little stuff, like the one we heard about, like with the wedding.
Right. If you look back at videos and the pictures, and you see who was really actually like smiling and happy for you, or who was sitting there with the stink face.
Right. And granted, since we, do this podcast, you should communicate with these people, because sometimes, like we're saying, people could be going through things that make them less able to, I guess, give you the support that you need when they're down.
Yeah, which is tough for me. Yes, Kelly, you sure were. Everybody who was at our wedding was very supportive and loving, and we're grateful for that. Mama J?
She says, when you have some call friends who don't respect your feelings.
Huge. That is very huge. I remember it was like part of like wedding planning.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who, like everyone knows, like I'm not into like strippers and things of that nature.
Right.
But I had a friend who was really insistent on it. And even to the point where they're like, well, if I just brought one there, like, would you be upset? And it's just like, well, wow, this is supposed to be for me, number one. And then two, it's like, well, just respect what, I'm telling you as your friend. When you have your own celebration, or you can even have a girls' night and do it yourself, but you don't have to push it on me when you know that's something that I dislike. Or if you just tell them something that bothers you and your friend just throws it to the side and doesn't care about it. So I agree. If someone is not respecting your feelings, that is a telltale sign that you're just outgrowing each other, and it may be time to, go your separate ways.
That's true.
Did you have any other signs before?
And I guess one could just be less contact from somebody.
Oh, no, don't say that. Don't say that.
No, it's not always. It's not
bad.
Right, but it's not always that issue. But somebody that somebody that, let's say you hit them up all the time before to go do something. Nothing changed, and now you just stop. Or you start slowing down. Maybe you could be going through things. You do that?
I don't ever hit people.
That's what I'm saying.
So no.
That's not a you thing, period.
Let me not say it like that. I'm just very bad at reaching out. So if it comes to my mind, and I've been getting better, and I say it to myself, like, let me reach out, because I know I'm not good. And I know everyone, like, I used to be stank and be like, oh, I don't call people, they call me. But in my older, wiser age, I'm like, that's not good. Like, you have to also reciprocate. And, if you're a true friend, then you should want to contact them. And they cross my mind. True. It's just sometimes like I'll say it in my head and then I'll just forget to do it. So I've been more conscious about like, well, let me contact my friends and let me contact these people. And it may not be often. And thank God my friends know me and love me for me. So they don't take it personal. And we can just pick up, right where we left off. But I do get what you're saying. Like, if you just make these drastic changes, and also, I think you do have to think about what's going on in their life. People get in relationships and start, being all booed up, and then that kind of changes. Maybe going through a family issue, things of that nature. So communication is huge. But go ahead.
Yeah, but little things like the whole boot up thing can cause somebody to not really be your friend like that.
That's true. That's very true.
And that's what I mean. I guess it can be like, hey, maybe it's just new. They're going through their honeymoon phase. When they calm down, y'all will talk again. But it could also be that they just, I don't know, maybe their friend don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? So less contact. They're not talking to you as much. You just take it as, oh, well.
Right. And kind of like how you were saying too, it's not a bad or a good thing. It's just something that happens as we get older, and it's a part of life. People are in your life for either a lifetime, a season, and everyone's in your life for a reason.
Right.
So you just kind of take what you got from that friendship or relationship, and you just move forward.
Right.
And a lot of times that is how it happens. It's just that you guys kind of stop talking to each other as often, and then eventually you kind of just fall off.
Right.
And then someone be like, oh, what happened to so and so? I'm just like, oh, you know what? We just haven't really talked. Like, we just kind of grew apart.
Right.
So it could be that. I mean, sometimes it could end, with a discussion or with some friction.
Mm-hmm.
But
overall, though, I'd say that although there is pain, it can be hard or difficult for some to go through it. Overall, it's usually a good thing, because you're opening up space for much better at all the time. Whenever there's space, right, or you have a release from something, you can grow.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes, change is hard and growth is difficult, especially when, maybe one person may be holding on to the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Especially it's really hard if you've been childhood friends or friends for, a long time, and you kind of see that friendship dwindling. It's tough, especially if nothing really negative happened, to, see it end. But it is a part of life. And like you said, it does open doors for new possibilities, new friendships, and just new blessings to happen. And not to say that that person wasn't a blessing in your life, because I'm sure you had great memories, great times, and they supported you a lot back in the day.
That's true.
So I just think you just take it as a, a growing lesson.
Right.
All right. So that kind of wraps up the outgrowing friends. And if you guys have any other comments that you want to say about that, leave it below. If you have any personal experiences that you just want to share, or advice on helping people get past outgrowing a friendship if they're having a hard time, you can write in the comments. But next we have a little dialogue, well, kind of like an email where someone needs some help.
Yeah, so basically we're just going to read this real quick, and we want to get your opinions on how we would help them through their situation.
Right.
So here we go. Hi, y'all. I hope you're all doing okay. This is my first email here, and I just need some advice. Found out a few days ago that my fiance has been emotionally cheating with the girl that he used to work with. He said it had been going on for 6 to 7 months, but I think he's been lying. It was mostly him saying things like hugs, snugs, spinny hugs, I'll squeeze you, and I'd kiss you. Or what about, I want hugs, preferably naked. Obviously, I'm so hurt. He's never said these things to me, and he's supposed to be marrying me. Our intimacy levels have not been great recently, and I have just lost my grandfather to a sudden heart attack and then lost one of my best friends to complications of leukemia. All of this while I've been grieving. He has been messaging this girl. His excuse was that he didn't want to hurt me by constantly nagging me for sex or trying to burden me with the lack of intimacy. I've struggled with depression for 7 years, and he knows this. There are periods where I struggle with intimacy because I feel so low. This has really tipped me over the edge and made me feel so worthless that I'm thinking about just packing things up and moving back to London with my family. Things just blew up yesterday because he was basically in the other room, not even trying to speak to me to resolve things. So I got upset. I couldn't stop crying. I demanded we look through the phone, and I found even more messages. I was so angry, so betrayed that I attacked him. I know this. I know this was so wrong and does not make me any better. I just felt so betrayed and hurt. We have been together for 5 years and engaged for 3. Wow. Why was he willing to risk it all? I issued him an ultimatum, so he blocked her, but said it was hard because she was a good friend. I need some water. I just don't know what to think. My head is all over the place, and I feel so utterly worthless. I feel sorry that this is all over the place. I haven't slept well since I found out that I have been plagued by pounding headaches. Anyway, what's funny, Khalid?
That's rude. Well, anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
So let us know what you guys would advise this emailer below.
Yeah. So basically, to keep things short, I guess after 8 years, she's supposed to be getting married. To
8 years.
She says she's been married. They've
been together for 5 years, engaged for 3 of the 5,
and engaged for in 3 of the 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so after 5 years, she finds her fiance messaging this girl, and I guess they call it emotionally cheating.
It is, because you're developing an emotional attachment with someone who is not your fiance,
but not physically. So, what would you tell? What would you tell her to do? Hug and snug. Yeah, I don't know what type of talking that is, but I guess that's cool wherever they from. But what?
Nothing. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a lot to unravel. So I mean, a lot of questions pop up into my head, like the fact that they've been engaged for 3 years. Like, so I know some people do long engagements,
right?
But I would kind of wonder why the engagement was so long. And then 2, as far as the emotional cheating is concerned, his excuse of not wanting to burden her with, trying to be intimate and stuff like that when he knows she's not in the mood is just that, an excuse. And it makes me feel like it's more than emotional cheating. Now, I don't know, of course, only he knows.
For him to say something like that.
Right. Only he knows. But I just think that the fact that he did that, and then I'm not sure if there was a time lapse between when she first initially found out and then went through the messages again and saw that there were more. Because I feel like if he did it, she found out, and then he was still talking to the girl, I mean, for one, he already let you know.
Right.
He's being unfaithful. And then 2, it's like, well, you got caught and now you're still going to entertain it. So for me, I would tell her, especially because they made, the commitment to be engaged and they obviously want to take the next step to be married. I would tell her to really just sit down and think on what she wants, because this is affecting her self-worth and self-esteem. She keeps saying she feels worthless, and she's taking it internally like it has something to do with her. And she already says she deals with depression. So I would tell her to definitely take some time apart and decide on what's best for her and what she really wants in her life, and decide if this is the person that she wants to spend the rest of her life with. And I don't know. For him, she didn't really say too much about his personality, or him, what he's willing to do to make it work. I mean, he blocked the girl, but made sure he let her know that it was difficult for him because that girl's a good friend. I mean, to me, I just say take some time apart, really figure out what you want for yourself, and it would be hard to trust them. I mean, anybody, after they make a choice like that and disrespect a relationship and are unfaithful, it's going to be hard to rebuild that trust.
Mm-hmm.
But if she feels like she can, I would just say really take it slow. Thankfully, they're not married yet. So it's a different ball game where it doesn't have to, you could easily walk away.
Right.
Well, easier. You can walk away easier. Without like the old papers and divorce and all that stuff. So yeah, I just think maybe she does need to go back to London for a little bit, spend time with her family, get her mind straight, and definitely get some counseling and work on her and her self-worth, because I think it's harder for women to leave a situation that they know is not right, especially if their self-esteem and self-worth is not intact.
That's true. I agree. I think she should go home for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They should talk though.
Mm-hmm.
After she can talk to him,
right,
without being
physical. And now that's another bad part that she did do.
She did, yeah.
Which I can understand, but no bueno.
Right.
Hey, Adam.
What's up, Adam? So yeah, I think she should go home and she should get her mind straight, have a conversation with him. He's such a winker. Yeah, I guess so. He is.
Okay, Mr. London.
But yeah, I think though she should definitely evaluate where they should be at, and also he has to. I guess he would have to evaluate the same on where he wants to be at, because there's no reason for him to be doing that to her, knowing what she's going through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, what gets me is for him to willingly just feel like he needs to offer his words of saying that it was difficult because she was a good friend. That part is like,
just rubs you the wrong way.
Right. And it rubs me the wrong way. And then on top of that, this is somebody he used to work with.
Mm-hmm.
He don't even work with this person anymore. Mm-hmm. So that kind of is like, then your intimacy is not the same. So you're not really sure what he's been doing necessarily.
Right.
So if he could, I guess, if you could get the truth or how much you feel like would be the truth, that would probably be the best way to go forward with evaluating what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. What would you guys think? Do you guys think she should leave or stay, or what advice would you guys give this young lady? But yeah, you made a good point. Also, with their intimacy not being on point, that is already shows you a problem within the relationship, because it doesn't have to be just sexual intimacy, but if just even your closeness, your bond,
right,
being intimate with each other isn't there, there's a crack on why that's happening, and so you want to kind of uncover why that is. And she was saying, she lost, I believe, her grandfather, and so she's dealing with things. And is he emotionally supporting her? Is he even there and being supportive for what she is going through? And it doesn't seem like it. So I think there's probably definitely a disconnect within their relationship, while he's over there, writing his little ex-coworker. She's going through her own thing. So it's like they're kind of not living two separate lives, but definitely not on the same page within their lives together.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely they need to really, really go through that. My mom says, unfortunately, I think she needs to move on. And emotional connection between people is stronger sexual
than right. Sexual.
She should go home and seek counseling to build her self-esteem and deal with the depression.
I agree.
That's right, because he obviously don't care about her actual mental
well-being.
Yeah,
He
really don't. And I do think that's probably, that could be why she's feeling like they're less intimate. She went through all of this stuff, and you expect him to be there. And the question is, where's he spending his time? There's a lot of questions that you could ask.
Yeah, I want to talk to him. I have a few more questions for you.
Yeah.
But I do think bottom line is definitely she needs to work on her and take that time apart. And what do you think about that? Because I hear that a lot.
What?
An emotional connection is stronger than a sexual connection.
Emotional connection is stronger than a sexual. I think emotional connection between people is stronger than sexual. All right, so maybe it could probably it can be
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be.
Mm-hmm.
But then then some stuff you gotta find out what people basing their emotions on. Because I think, let's say, let's say, let's take somebody that's young and they lose their virginity, or they just probably doesn't may have not had that much experience, or whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, those people, this like why they say wait, till after marriage for sex. That could be jogging a whole thought process or whatever it is for them to be so tied into things, I guess.
To that person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't make the what?
Colleague.
Oh, but yeah, they're not making best decisions because of that.
Yeah. But I do feel like, okay, because, people use terminology like stigmatized or, like where someone just whipped.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, they act like the sex is so good that it's like it just keeps that person coming back.
Right.
And acting crazy. But I do feel like it is more so an emotional, because also you got to think about it. I do think emotional connection is stronger than just the sexual connection,
right?
Because I feel like, okay, within sex you can still have an emotional connection,
right?
And
right.
that can change the feeling and the pleasure that you receive
True.
during sex. So I think when people say that they're just so hypnotized or whipped because of that, it's really deeper than that. Like, it may be great, don't get me wrong. Like, it may just be the best they've ever had, but I do think it's because of some type of deeper thing. Now, I don't know, correct me, someone correct me if I'm wrong, and if they have the experience where no, that's just not the case. But I do feel like there has to be some type of emotional tie that keeps you that that connected to somebody, to where it's like, okay, so like if a guy or a woman messes up, right, and it's like the other person wants nothing to do with them, but that person is like climbing gates or like meeting them outside their job, like to do crazy, like not, I guess, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy to do crazy stuff like that. I feel like the emotion, like, it's more than just the sex that's making you do all of that. Yeah, like, it has to be some type of emotional pull.
Yeah, so I guess when people go out their way, like when people doing other stuff, maybe,
mm-hmm.
Maybe, but I guess I don't know, because I feel like it's some people out there that they are going through these situations with these people, and they be upset when they be over, but then when they sit back and think about why were they drawn to the person, they're not sure.
Yeah, but they're not sure after they get over it, but in that moment, it was that I think, for me, I believe it would be that emotional connection.
But you don't think that's something that strong, right? You don't think that you will remember that?
Not once you finally heal from it, because you could be blinded. Whether love is blind, and it can take over your mind. And so sometimes, like, once you actually get out, like, it's easy to see things, how they say, from the outside looking in. But when you're in it, it's like you're just like, no, like, we're gonna fight till the wheels fall off and everything. But then now, once I leave, like, because I could reflect back on other relationships, and I'm like, that wasn't it. Like, what were you thinking? Why would you do this and that for that? Like, it would, like, now I can look back, and even though in that moment it was a strong emotional connection, now that I'm more detached from it, and there's, like, there's nothing there, it's kind of like,
No, you could say no, but right. You could still say, I don't know what the heck I was not. But even when you say you don't know what the heck you was thinking, you could still recollect on how you felt back at that time that made you do that, right?
Yeah, I know it's an strong emotional connection, but now
That's
I'm
what I'm
looking at
saying.
like, how?
Yeah,
How, Sway?
and that's what I'm saying. So you knew everything that calculated up to why you felt that way. I think there's people that's just doing it. They just, I don't, they might not, they're not processing why,
Well, maybe they're not fully conscious because also you have to think some people have attachment issues and things of that nature could be
attachment
play a
issues,
role.
Insecurities.
Right.
Shoot, it could be anything.
Yeah, but they may just not be aware on their why.
Right. Because you have some people that go cheat or do anything because I guess they love tank could be dry.
Yeah.
And they not being. I think they.
I mean, it's true. It's an excuse.
They love tank could be dry, and they have not communicated maturely about how they felt.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Khalid says that is true about having a connection with sex when you would genuinely feel for someone, right?
Yeah.
My mom says for the sex to be a greater connection, but needs to be intimacy involved. You can have sex with someone and be done, no intimacy involved.
Very true. Very, very true. So yeah. So I do think definitely emotional connections are stronger than sex because like they say too, if sex was everything, and let's say you just found this person who you can have the best sex with, that like guys will or women will say like, oh, this is the best sex I've had, but still go and cheat on that person. So if sex is everything, then you would think that would keep someone at home and not cheating, but it doesn't always.
But what about the guys that is habitual cheaters? Like, and I guess so we just chunk it to the insecurities and stuff like that.
Obviously there's something wrong with you if you get into a relationship and you say you want to be monogamous or you agree to be monogamous, but because you're a habitual cheater, you're just going to go cheat, then it's something with lack of self-control within yourself. And it's something, I do feel like it may be an insecurity or something to where you either feel like, oh, well, I still got to know for myself that I still got it, or, something playing in somebody's mind on why you feel the need to cheat. Now, granted, temptation is out there, and you may be that type of person who gets a lot of attention, who a lot of girls will throw themselves at, but then that's where self-discipline comes into play. And I do feel like there's like, even let's say that type of guy, if he had a really strong emotional connection to whoever he's dating, I do feel like he may second guess it or not cheat like for a little bit. He may go back into old ways because there's a honeymoon phase and then people fall out of that. You have fights and stuff. So you got your rocky point. But I do think even that person, if there is a strong enough emotional connection with someone else, may not treat her or do what he did to other women. Maybe he would. I don't know, because I don't know that mindset. Right. But I do think it's like, yeah, you agreed to be in a monogamous relationship. So if you know this is what you're about, you might as well just be single and just be sleeping around. What do you need to be in a committed relationship for?
Right. And then see, and this what I was trying to get at too is I guess what my mom's, I don't know if it's what I'm getting at, but she said habitual cheaters are cowards who know they won't be able to make a woman happy for a lifetime.
Deep.
I don't know about the who know. They're not ready to make a woman happy for a lifetime, because some of them can. I think some people just don't make the right choices.
Yeah, but the choices they're making is not going to make a woman happy for a lifetime. So right. In that I think moment,
but what I was getting at, I guess, was that fact that they could love that person, but they are cowards to the extent where they're not going to communicate. I guess because and I guess because I feel like today the way they promote so many things to a certain extent. I mean, you don't think there's people out there that could just like sex like that?
Just because you like sex like that, you have so it's either you like
Well,
sex
and
like that.
they know, and they don't communicate that to their partner.
Yeah, but that's still on you for not speaking up
Right.
and not saying it. So I don't. What is that? I don't get what you're saying, man.
About that, they have some type of that other person is
Still,
their sexual connection. They don't have. They don't.
it's
They might
not,
not
but
care
it's
about
not
that
a
person.
sexual connection. It's just I want sex. It's not a connection to that person. It's because if you're saying they just like sex a lot, that means they can have sex with anybody and be good.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying. But what if they go? What if they have their one person that they always go back to?
Then they have an emotional connection that they just aren't ready to admit to
Okay.
that person. I believe. I don't know for sure.
No.
I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I just would think they have an emotional connection to that person. That's why they keep returning to that
To the same
person.
thing.
But for whatever reason, those two are choosing not to be together. What you mean,
Says
Cully?
not true, Sean Megan. My mother says, and they are also scared of rejection, so they go from one to the other, not giving one person the opportunity to love them. That's true for the people that
You didn't read the last part.
coward.
Howard.
That's true for the people that's jumping from there. That's why I did say they had that one person.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all hypothetical. Like
Mhm.
we'd have to get some habituals up on here to say their mindset. But I think when it falls down to it, it would be something internal within that person. Colleague, please let me know what's not true. But I do think it would be something internal within that person that's causing them to make the choices that they are going to make. He said you can like sex a lot and still be in love with that same person.
So
That's not what I was saying, though.
Yeah, because I don't know if you're saying what I was saying. Because I was saying maybe they with somebody and they keep cheating on this person that they claim to love, right? And then, but they keep going having sex with this other person so they quote unquote have an emotional connection with one person, but a sexual connection with somebody else. Do you think that that's possible?
But what I was saying is he basically, the two girls, he has an emotional connection with both people is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying if it was solely just sex that this person liked so much, then they would just be pleased having sex with anybody.
Yeah.
But for them to always go back and cheat on their spouse with this one person, it means that it means that there's an emotional connection with that person they continuously go to for cheating.
Yeah, so it sounds like basically what you're saying is really there's no real such thing as sexual connection.
Well, you can probably call it a sexual connection because people probably feel like the chemistry, everything is so good.
Yeah.
But I do feel like but chemistry is part of emotion to me. So I feel like it
that's what I'm saying. So you're saying in a way there's no real such thing as sexual connection. The sexual connection just comes along with having emotional connections to someone, is what you're saying, in a way.
For the sex, yeah.
Like, how do you have it? Do you? So
okay, hold on.
See, that's what I'm saying. So in a way, because it sounds like you're saying there's no way you could have the emotional connection without the sexual.
No, so I'm not going to say that because I do feel like people, this is kind of off the wall, but I do feel like people who go to like maybe those underground little places where everybody's just having sex with each other may find somebody who can pleasure them in a way that they haven't been, and they truly enjoy it and do want to go back for more. And I don't think that necessarily they had an emotional connection prior to that because they don't know each other, and it was just that, boom, boom. So I do feel like it could just be great intercourse, but I do feel like over time, the more they keep going and seeing that person and, being with that person like that, something emotional connection would form.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So it's not too pretty.
Booby says swing party. Yeah, like a swing party.
Yeah. So basically, it's not, you can't you can't have this long-term sexual connection without
Emotions building.
starting to
Right.
into it.
I believe so. Now, I don't know because I'm just not a swinger, or I haven't had that experience. But yeah, I think
that
yeah.
I believe. I believe. I do believe that if you if you like have too much probably intercourse with somebody and stuff like that, I believe that intercourse is a bonding thing.
It is. That's why they say soul ties, and you're connected to the people who you have sex with. So,
right. So that's why. So I do believe it in that sense. If you continuously do this practice that leads to bonding, then eventually some type of emotional tie will come about.
Yes.
And Khalik says not true. You can have sex with the same person and not develop feeling. Now that I don't believe that.
All right, Khalik, you whip. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Khalik. I don't know if
and not have any feelings for the person. So why are you having sex with them?
Yeah, because if you heard that they died today, you wouldn't just be like, damn, that was some good pee.
Right. I don't know. And listen, maybe something internal. You just don't want to confess to yourself. But he said yes and not. Okay, you lying. Because you're more heartfelt than that, Khalik.
Yeah. And so you know what? Now I'm sitting here really thinking about it, right? Maybe not. Because of now, so let's think of the guys, right, that have one girl, right? They don't cheat, right? But they spend all their money on her date and they don't even care about her. Think about those guys.
I don't know.
I'm saying like a rich guy that don't even treat the girl well. You get what I'm saying?
And he's not cheating.
But he probably I don't think
they be cheating.
I don't think all of them necessarily got to cheat to
stereotype, but they be cheating.
I mean, I think there's some guys that's out there that don't cheat, but they don't treat the girl well. I do think those are there.
Maybe, but I think it's not because they don't care about the girl. I think it's because, again, so I think, a lot of things are a reflection of ourselves. So how we treat people and how we interact with people is a reflection of our own internal well-being. And so if a wealthy man is treating a woman like property or just a trophy wife, spends money on her, but just shows her, just shows her because she looks beautiful and he knows other guys are going to want her, but he treats her badly, I think it's still like an insecurity. I think, again, it's like, okay, well, let me showboat to these people what I got. And I'm going to, even though I may love her, I don't know how to treat her right because of whatever's going on within me, or I wasn't taught, or bad experiences, or things like that.
So that's in a relationship, right? Now, in the sense of spending all that money, there's guys that be paying the same escort over and over and over again for her services. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's basically...
Because that's like somebody that go to McDonald's and buy the same thing every day. They do have emotional attachment some type of way.
Food addiction is real, and that's emotional as well.
Yeah, because they be mad if you close their McDonald's down on them and have to make them drive further or whatever the case may be.
You are so extra. But it's true. That's still an emotional attachment. So I think for that guy who will continuously spend his money on this one person, he's built an emotional attachment to this woman, and he's pretty much paying her for her company. Because if you weren't emotionally attached, you wouldn't just be going back to the same woman, paying her, especially if you're paying over and over and over again.
Even if he felt like she pleased him in a way that he's never been pleased before?
I mean, he may go back, but like I said, eventually he's going to form that emotional attachment. He's probably going to be trying to make her his lady. She's going to shut him down. So he's going to become a crazy stalker. Yeah. We've seen Law and Order SVU.
I guess that's if you're looking for companionship.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't really know how that works. Because I don't know if these guys having conversation with these girls like that to...
I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure, like, some of it could just be, paying for your service and I go. But I think people talk and have conversations. That's,
Yeah.
A lot of affairs can start by just conversation and things like that too. So I just think with all of it, emotional connection is top. And you can just start off just being sexually intimate. However, if you continue down that path, I do think an emotional connection will form.
Yes, my mother says great intercourse won't last a lifetime without an emotional connection coming into play. Now, if you have an emotional connection first, you can teach each other to have a great intimate relationship with each other. Example, some look at a couple where one of them are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Some look at them and say, what do they see in that fat person? Well, it's called having the emotional connection first and foremost.
Some look at them and
So,
say. But yeah,
so,
that's very
so
true.
all jokes aside, I have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know guys that was not interested in big girls.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I wouldn't have another word for that. Instead of
for heavier set
for heavy set women, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like heavy set women,
mm-hmm.
and then I guess just chilling with some girl that they met,
Mm-hmm.
that was heavy set. For some reason, things changed, and I guess they say basically after chilling with somebody like all the time, you don't even see what you didn't like anymore.
Yeah, because you form that emotional. Like I remember I was talking to my friend. She was BBW's.
Big
No, that's
for women.
No. Oh, okay. I thought BBW was like big breasted women, but I don't know. Maybe it's big beautiful women. I don't know. But anywho,
that could be that too.
But I was talking with my friend, and she was kind of like newer on, like she was trying to be in a serious relationship, and she hadn't been in one in a while. And so she was just telling me about this experience with this guy and how every little thing he did annoyed her. Just like, singing in the shower and the way he drank his drink. And I was telling her, I was like, honestly, that I feel like it's because that spark isn't there or that chemistry is not there. Because there's certain things that Saquon can do that could be annoying to someone else, but I look at him and I may just laugh or just be like, oh, he's ridiculous, or like he's cute, whatever. And it's just little quirky things that he does that I'm not, I won't say I'm attracted to them, but it's like it doesn't turn me off because we have that emotional connection, and he's my big head.
Yeah, she do think that's full on nasty.
Never have I ever.
I think
never have I.
I think it's actually. I think some of the things could be quite disgusting. Little stuff, just little stuff.
No, I don't.
Like, I'm not gonna go into detail. But yeah, it's little things though that you could do that. I feel like if I was sitting there seeing somebody else do it,
you'd be disgusted.
Yeah.
Well, no, okay, not with me, but vice versa. Like if we've seen people doing the things that he does, we would just be disgusted.
No. I don't know about. I might have a disgusting thing.
No, but we do but still, needless to say, it's things that we accept with each other that other people we'd be like, oh, they're trifling.
Yeah, and don't try to hold that against us, y'all, because we're just being transparent with y'all.
Listen, Cully said, big girls need love too, Craig. Everybody needs love. Yeah. I agree. And Mama J says, or it could be someone not visually pleasing to the eyes, but they have great conversation. Yeah. And I do think eventually that emotional connection just makes you, like you said, it kind of, you don't see those flaws anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You just don't. You don't see the flaws anymore because, you start realizing the importance of other things. My mother said, like, wanting your sandwich made a certain way, even though it's going down the same way. Exactly. That's one of those things that, for her, I do. Sometimes I gotta do these little dances and extra stuff just to make a sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
She hates a regular style sandwich, you know? And then don't let me put a little tweak into mine, because then I got to do the dance with her sandwich and do my new tweak.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But, hey, I do it. If it was somebody else, I'd be looking at them like, if you don't get over here and make your damn sandwich, you know? Like, so you know what I mean. But, yeah, I mean,
Extra.
It's just because I love her.
Whatever. But yeah, definitely I agree.
Yeah.
That emotional connection is what keeps things alive and keeps things intimate and strong. And like Mama J was saying earlier, you can teach someone to be more pleasurable in the bedroom, but I feel like you can't really teach that emotional connection. Like it has to be a little bit more natural and, you know, flowing. So
you can't teach emotional connection at all. That's all about self.
Yes. So this is good. This is great topic. I hope we help that emailer and that she hears this video, and I really do pray that she goes and gets counseling and help for herself,
right,
and builds up her self-worth and self-esteem, because for anybody, that's just key. It's hard for you to truly love someone else if you don't truly love yourself.
Yep.
So yeah, so with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to say, hon?
Nope. Thank you guys for joining today. Thank you for the great conversation. Like always, we appreciate it. For you guys that are new, thanks for joining as well. Feel free to follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, at the PowerTrip Podcast. If you want us to read an email anonymously, if you want us to read an email us at thepowertrippodcast@gmail.com. Always looking for something new. What you talking about, Khalid?
Yes, Khalid.
And see, that's what I'm saying. And love really, you know, as I have more love for my family, the Charmaine thing stopped.
It doesn't bother you anymore?
Yeah.
He used to get so mad.
Yeah, it used to bother me. It used to be so annoying.
Yeah, because Khalid, he knows he'll get beat up.
Yeah, they like to play a lot. But yeah.
And make sure you guys like this video. Everyone who's on right now,
yes,
please
if you're
give
on
us
right
a
now,
thumbs up.
please give us a thumbs up if you can. We would really appreciate it. Please.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
Yes, please subscribe if you haven't.
Is there an echo? And make sure you guys share with a friend.
Yeah, see,
Khalid. All right, don't make me have you calling you nicknames, okay, sir?
That's what annoying coming. But anyway,
you don't respect him.
Yes, we were just talking about that.
Yes, we're outgrowing you.
Have respect for my feelings.
Thank you. Good night, Mama J. Thank you. Thank you all. Yes. We love you guys.
Good night, everybody. Deuces.